chased home by a horde of zombies. Which can be outrun, by the way, with a leisurely stroll. Zombies are maybe threat level 0.5. First of all, they're really slow, and they're loud, and they're stupid. The moaning, the shuffling, the scraping, you can hear them in some cases quite literally a mile away. And regarding this stupidity factor, toddlers begin to develop object permanence between 4 and 7 months. Zombies, though, they lose object permanence on day 0. That is scientific. But let's say, against all odds, you manage to get yourself cornered like I did. You just need to remember that these are mostly rotted corpses. Their limbs basically fall to pieces with a simple tug. You might be in more danger stealing all the tapioca pudding in an old folks' home. So yeah, I was chased by a horde of zombies. I did take a wrong turn, and oh no, they crept up behind me, but really the only danger I was in was that I did scrape my knee while kind of just moving by them against some parent rebar. So while I do not believe I will be turning into a zombie today, the threat of a little streptococcus is real. Fortunately, I have been culturing some penicillin next to the hydroponics project over on the back porch solarium, so we will get going with that project with some urgency. Hopefully all will be well. And but in the meantime, something truly important that I have actually had for a while, along with other games that show up mysteriously in my temporarily distorted post office box, I am just now getting to review this one. This one, I've had it for a little while, in full disclosure. A lot of times I open these on and video everything new, but this one I've actually spent some time with, along with some of the supplemental content. So this is yet another solo role-playing game, and I understand in your timeline, this one is a bit more of a classic, I guess, or one that inspired some of the current solo RPG, solo gaming experience that you have. This is 4 Against Darkness, a solitaire dungeon delving pen and paper game. So as I said, I'm very familiar with this game, having spent many a candlelit evening hunkered down in the midst of shelling and civic unrest, just general widespread death and destruction. And I have to say, as far as solo dungeon crawling experiences go, there are worse ways to wait out the utter collapse of civilization. So per the norm, I'll be dividing this video into 3 parts. First, I'll review the rules and mechanics, and we'll dive into some actual solo play. And finally, I'll give you my review of this game. I realize that this format makes for a really long video, but I do hope that you'll make ample use of that fast forward feature on your VCR player to find this section of particular interest to you. Or perhaps you can pour yourself a glass of something warm and curl up next to the fires of your own apocalypse and listen to my soothing voice say things like, I roll a d6 on the weird monster table, which is actually a thing in this game, and listen to a satisfying scrawl of pencil or pen on paper as I randomly draw a dungeon crawl map. So let's dive in. Revised Rules version 4.0. Illustrated, written by Andreas Sveigoy. Okay. This is an old school dungeon bashing. I love the term old school. It's just Wednesday for me. That can be played with minimum space and equipment. You'll need pencil, 2 dice, graph paper, you can also play on dry erase board now. And solo, of course, can control 4 heroes. If you have miniatures, I do not. The game can also be played with 2. No. All right. Why 4? Party 4 characters is the optimum, it says, to have enough variety for abilities. Let me zoom in on what I'm reading. The old VCR recorder, VHS recorder. All right, 4 characters are not too difficult to control for a single player. Yeah, okay, that's debatable. But I mean, in a game like this, where you're not really doing role playing per se. This is more of a adventure game. I call it a role playing adventure dungeon crawl, or an adventure dungeon crawl. If you play cooperatively, the game can work with larger numbers with some modifications. Try running 3 adventures per player, doubling the number of all monsters and treasures found, and increase the difficulty of all monster dangers. Okay. Length of game. So your first game will take a bit longer than an hour after you familiarize yourself with the mechanics, and typical solo game lasts about 45. Yeah, sometimes longer, sometimes less. Because your dungeon is random, you can end up having like dead ends really quickly, or more quickly than you thought you would. Or you can there are things that will cause the boss monster to appear more quickly. So time frame can vary. All the roles in the game are performed by characters. The power and danger level of a monster is indicated by a number that is the monster's level. When the characters attack, they perform attack rolls and compare them with the monster's level to determine if a monsters are killed. When it is a monster's turn to attack, your character performs defense rolls versus the monster's level, taking wounds if they fall. So this is an interesting mechanic. A monster's level becomes the number you have to beat to inflict damage, or the number you have to beat to successfully defend. The game uses regular 6-sided dice, annotated as D6. And there are a bunch of dice codes, which are fairly standard stuff if you've done any RPG stuff. I like this rule, the explosive rule. Whenever you roll a 6, performing any character action, immediately roll another d6 and add the result to the total. This is cumulative. If you roll another 6, roll again. With enough luck, you could roll any number in combat. This will let you kill multiple minions with a lucky blow. So your mage with a dagger might take out a dozen minions in one hit, which is completely ludicrous and unrealistic, and yet really awesome. Other dice. 4 Against Darkness uses only 6-sided dice, however, okay, we won't worry about that. The party. You have a party of 4 adventurers, each belonging to one of the following classes: warrior, cleric, rogue, wizard, barbarian, dwarf, halfling, or elf. Each class has special abilities and weaknesses that will become evident during the game. For example, wizards are weak in combat, but yeah, okay, we know the tropes. We don't need to go through the tropes. Although it is worth mentioning, barbarians are afraid of magic. They will refuse to use magic or magic items, with a few exceptions. They will accept healing, that sort of thing, but in general, no scrolls, nothing like that. Your character can be of any gender, but for brevity, we'll use masculine pronouns in the rulebook. Print out a copy of the party sheet. The character is described by his name, level, and character type. For example, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. A defense value describing what protected he is, and a life value. Yeah. Okay. Creating your party. At the beginning of the game, your 4 heroes are just starting out their adventure career. They are all level 1. Each belongs to one of the classes described below. Traits are the rules that differentiate the classes from the other. Skills, equipment, and their characters can use, and limitations. Each class also has some basic equipment and a few coins. I'm not going to read all of these, but we've got the warrior, the cleric. I mean, there's typical old school tropes in some of these, like the warrior. He's going to have a lot more. He's going to have an advantage. I guess he adds his level to his attack, and he's just tougher. Clerics get a bonus when they're fighting undead. They can basic heal spell, and they're like a light version of the warrior. Rogue gets a lot of advantages throughout the game against certain situations and certain monsters. They're kind of the utility belt of the classes. Wizards obviously have a lot of power, firepower with their spells. Barbarian, very strong, and stronger than the warrior, but they can't use magic or magical items. Elf is I haven't played with an elf, so I think they're just kind of an average. They're kind of a warrior, kind of a wizard, and I don't know. A dwarf, they get some bonuses based on gold. I don't know what else. And there's certain things that, kind of like the thief, they get advantages in a lot of different situations. Halflings, they get this reroll ability. I don't know. I haven't used a halfling either. To me, it's no, I don't know. They're just not that exciting. I'm not carrying any one rings here, guys. So let's just keep those guys in their hover holes. Equipment, I'm not going to go through all of this, but there's just basic stuff that you can buy in between adventures when you're back in the town, kind of doing your town stuff. Things like bandages. There are different weapons, like there's the hand weapon, the light. Let's see, there's a hand weapon, there's a light hand weapon, and then there's two-handed weapons. So as you might expect, a light hand weapon gets a -1 to your attack. A regular hand weapon is just 0, doesn't have anything happens, and two-handed weapons get an advantage, a bonus of +1. Similarly with armor, it's pretty much the same thing, except it's 0, +1, and +2. +2 for heavy armor, but you do take, you have a disadvantage in certain situations. I'm not going to go through all of these. Shields. Oh, shields are nice. They do give a +1 to defensive rolls. But sometimes certain attacks will ignore shields and you can lose them. But then there's certain abilities where you can bash with shields too, like the warrior has a cool, this is not in this version, but in a 4 Against the Abyss, you get some other advantages of having a shield. You can choose when you buy any weapon, you can decide whether it's a crushing or a slashing weapon. And crushing gets you an advantage against like skeletons in that sort of situation, whereas slashing gets you an advantage in other situations. Usually cleric. It says, following the tropes again, clerics prefer crushing weapons. You can sell stuff at half, and then it gives you some rules for how to sell magic equipment, which will come into play. You'll find magic items, and you'll want to sell those because those you'll start to accrue magic items that you might not necessarily be able to use, but those are worth a lot of gold, or can be. How to attack monsters. So you'll encounter monsters and have to fight them, obviously. That's the large portion of what you're doing in this game is just fighting. Each monster has a level, measure of how dangerous it is. A level is the number you must roll to wound the monster, like I was saying before. Or defending, you have to roll over their level to defend. An attack on a monster is performed with a d6 roll. Warriors, elves, dwarves, and barbarians add their level. Clerics add half their level. An attack roll is modified by the weapon type. A two-handed weapon adds +1, and a light weapon subtracts 1. Some weapons have bonuses against specific monsters, like crushing weapons, like I said. Monsters are 2 types. Minions, actually there's 3, because you also have vermin. So why do they have... I don't know. Minions, I guess they're counting vermins as minions. And then you have bosses. Minions are encountered in large numbers and classed as minion or vermin. The only difference is that you don't get XP from vermin. And sometimes, I would also add, you don't get treasure from them either. Sometimes they're just really annoying, especially at higher levels. It's just, we'll come back to that. But the cool thing about fighting minions is that because they only have 1 life each successful attack kills 1 or more of them. So if you have, for example, we'll read this example. For example, if you roll a total of 8 against a group of level 3, you actually kill 2 because you divide 8 by 3. You round down. So that's pretty cool. And that's how a wizard with a dagger, when they get the exploding dice roll, can kill a dozen minions. And when they get down to half of the initial number, they have to roll a morale roll or they run away. So bosses actually can do the same thing in certain circumstances. Bosses, though, are tougher. They have multiple life points. They can often perform more than 1 attack per turn. So every successful hit on a boss depletes 1 of their life. And when same sort of thing, if it goes multiple times over, you can take off multiple life points. So again, there's an example. If you roll a total of 9 against a level 4 boss, you will inflict 2 points of damage. When a boss loses more than half of its life, its level drops by 1. I always forget to do this. So it does lose a level when it's a half, and it has to do a morale roll, unless it's the main boss, unless it's the final boss, or if it's undead. A lot of undead will not flee. So, okay. Fleeing monsters leave their treasure, and they flee. They go away. And it's nice when they do that. Although every once in a while, it's slightly disappointing that you don't get the satisfaction of just getting those last couple. In general, your party has the option to act first. So you can either attack right away, or you can let the monsters act and see what they do. And this is really cool But when we get to the tables of the monsters, you roll a d6 and they'll decide to do different things. Like they might offer you food and rest and tend to your wounds, although that's rare. They might just ignore you, or they might flee. They might flee only if they're outnumbered. You can bribe them, though I wouldn't recommend that. You go through gold pretty fast and you don't get anything out of it. Or they'll just fight. And sometimes they'll fight to the death, meaning they will not flee once they get to half their numbers. Or occasionally on a puzzle. Or the coolest, this is the best, but it's kind of rare. And this is what I think makes it most worth letting them go first to see if they'll do this, is they'll give you a quest. And if they give you a quest, you roll on the quest table, and that will give you big or epic rewards. And so that's really good. And it's worth trying to get a quest from monsters. Worth letting them go first and risk even them attacking first to get a quest. You should always try to get a quest going, unless you're just really low on health or just scraping by like early levels, just trying to level up. So, and then there's magic challenges, which we'll go into later if we have that come up. That only happens if you have a wizard in your party, though. All right, and then they have the random dungeon crawl stuff that you expect in a pen and paper dungeon crawl like this, where you roll 2d6 and first you'll roll 1d6 and you'll start with an entrance room, and then you'll draw that on the graph paper, and then to every room after that is a 2d6 to get which one, and then you orient it and you start building it out. And I really love this part of dungeon crawls. It's just, I don't know, something about it. It's fun. And it's pretty. I love looking at the final product. It's just pretty, and the whole thing's enjoyable. So then we have all our tables. Rooms, by the way, I don't remember if we've come across this rule yet or not, but rooms can be searched. We'll come back to how that works. So we've got all of these tables: special event tables, special feature tables, treasure, magic, vermin. We'll roll what type of vermin minions you face, minions, bosses, weird monsters. I said that was a thing. I wasn't lying. There's a weird monster table, and they are weird. And you have your quest table. I told you about the quests, and then an epic reward. So those are all of the tables. All right, moving through the dungeon, just like we're moving through this rule book. The game does not use any formal way to mark the passage of time. The characters simply move from room to room. If in a scenario it is important to calculate the passage of time, I don't think it is, so we're not going to review that. I don't think I've ever had to track time. Running out of paper. So when you get up to the walls, you just draw as much of the room as possible. That's all that says. Rotating room. You can feel free to rotate it. I tend to try not to rotate the squares as much as possible. So if I'm connecting two rooms, I'll try to keep it oriented the way it is. And if it doesn't work, then I'll go, counterclockwise, clockwise until it does. All right. Sometimes you need to go back through rooms that you've already visited. And this is where you got wandering monsters. There's a chance by rolling a 1 that you'll face a wandering monster and have to deal with that. And that's not uncommon. Can happen. If you already bribed a monster, I think you have to re-bribe it, which is dumb. the final boss, and this is really like the main thing. There's a big reward at the end of beating the final boss, and I love the built-in mechanics because the way it works is whenever you face, like if we look at the boss table, when you roll on the boss table, you might get a not as hard. I mean, usually the lower numbers are not as hard as the higher ones. Like 6 is a small dragon, and I think he's the toughest guy. And so when you are rolling on this, the more bosses that you face, then you add one or weird monster. So if I fought 2 bosses and a weird monster, then I'm going to add 3. And if I roll a 6, then that is the final boss. And if it's a final boss, there's special rules. They get a +1 to their level, and health, I think. They get a +1. Oh, sorry. Let's see. What do they get? They get... I should know this. All right. When you run out of doors to open, that's the other thing. So that's one way to find the boss monster is to roll a 6. But the other way is when you run out of doors to open, the last room will automatically generate the final boss. The final boss has additional life and additional attack and will fight to the death. He will not flee. And then there's some awesome rewards waiting. Let's see. Another thing you can do, though, if you're... and I've been tempted to do this because I have had games that have lasted a really long time, and not that I don't have anything but time in this hellscape, but I get tired. So you can set a timer also of 45 minutes and basically say the last room of 45 minutes, that's the final boss. Yep. All right, there are rules around splitting the party up. I have never split them up, and I don't think I would, unless there was no choice, or if there was some sort of situation that forced it to happen. There are some rules for fallen heroes. You can carry them out, or leave them for dead. You can redistribute their items. Yeah, if you leave them alone, there are some rules we won't go into right now. And then you can pay to have them 1,000 gold to have them resurrected. I don't think it's worth it. I would re-roll a new character personally. I mean, call me heartless. All right, some rules for characters turned to stone. That has not happened to me, but if it does, I'll come back here. Leveling up. So I like the way that you do. It's a double-edged sword. When you get an XP point by either encountering 10 minions, not vermin, just minions, or encountering a boss or weird monster, or you get an XP point. And an XP point can be spent to roll to see if you level up. To roll to see if you level up, you take your level, and you have to take a D6, and you have to roll higher than it. So if I'm level 3, I have to roll higher, and if I do, then I level up. This can be... this is a big roll. This is probably one of the most important roll in the game, and it can be extremely frustrating when you've gotten 4 experience points in a row, and you're unable to level up your character. That's really annoying. So I homebrew are tempted to I go back and forth. I didn't do it, but I'm tempted to say this time or what I would do next time, because I did have a situation where I went many rolls in a row and didn't get to level up my character. Where I would say for every failed point, you get to add +1 to your die roll for the next following until you actually do level up. I wish that they would build that rule in there. I think that's a good homebrew rule to add, because otherwise, I mean, if you just 6 rolls in a row, which it can happen, of missing and just wasting an XP, which it's hard. Those XP points are rare. They're hard to come by, and it can be agonizing. So that would be, I think I'm going to do that. That's my homebrew rule that I'm going to add to 4 Against Dark. Another thing with leveling up is that you cannot level up the same character twice. You have to move to a different character and then come back. And I think that's a good rule, because otherwise you can have one carry, really. You can have one character that just kind of carries the whole team if you just leveled that one person up. Spells. This goes over the spells. Not going to go through them here. You have to decide your marching order, and this comes into play in either rooms or a corridor. Marching order matters because if I draw a wandering monster, for instance, they attack from the rear, so they're going to attack the 2 characters in rear first, not the ones in front. And in a corridor, the only 2 that can actually do melee battles are the 2 that are facing. So if I roll a regular monster encounter, the 2 in the front can only fight the 2 in, let's see, 2 monsters at a time can fight 2 characters at a time, melee. If they have range, they can shoot at each other from behind. But if they come from the rear, then they have to fight the 2 in the rear. So, yeah, marching order matters. You have to kind of decide what that is. So I usually just specify what that is, and I don't ever change it in the game. I just go in order of my character sheets. So if I pull up the character sheet, see if they've got the 4 characters on one sheet, and so that's just my marching order. Keep it simple. Alrighty. In a room, you can only use ranged weapons at the beginning, and then you have to take a turn to switch weapons. You have to roll higher than the level. When you add your defense modifier, it has to be higher than the level of the monster, or the monster does damage to you, attacks you. If it's equal to or lower than it, then you take 1 wound. Or 2 if it's a more powerful monster. Each monster must attack a different character. The marching order is ignored if there are, this is in a room with fewer monsters and characters. If there are not enough monsters to attack all the characters, you decide. So you can decide, but I usually don't. I usually just go down just in order, just to make it simple. In a room with as many monsters as there are characters, all characters get attacked once. In a room with more, each character receives an equal number of attacks, and then you decide the extras. Quarters I explained already. You can run away. I've never done it, so I would have to come back here and read these, but we won't go through the rules for withdrawing here. We already talked about monsters fleeing. Combat ends when all the monsters have been killed or fled, or the characters have fled, or they decide to break off. Okay. And then you get a treasure roll. On the treasure table, some monsters, and the number you roll, like the higher you roll on the treasure table, the better the treasure, the better the loot. Let's see if we can find the treasure table. Here it is. So, there's a D6 for treasures. The higher you roll, the more optimal the treasure. And if you get the 6, you can roll on the magic treasure table and get something really special. So some minions that are or vermin that are not very powerful will give you a -1 to that roll, and some things will give you and will add modifiers to that roll if they're more powerful. Okay. I explained that there are wandering monsters. When you visit a room you've already been in, you have to roll on the wandering monster table. You roll to see if there's a wandering monster, and then you could get attacked. But that also happens when you're searching an empty room. You might get a wandering monster then as well. There are secret doors. We'll only read about that if we encounter it. Hidden treasures. You can roll that in when you're searching sometimes. Clues. Clues are cool. When you find a clue, you get to add it to your character sheet. And I believe, let's see, write the clue. Once you have 3 clues, then you get to unlock both an XP roll, and you can choose one of these cool things that are like backstory things. This is where we get a little bit of actual flavor stuff. A little bit of RPG-ness, because you don't get a lot in this game, but it's like something secret in your background that suddenly gives you an ability. Like, let's pick one here. So terrifying secret here. Whenever a monster or a group of minions must make a morale roll in your presence, you may utter the unspeakable secret, and the monsters will automatically fail their roll. This has no effect on monsters that do not test morale or the final boss. So, you could get that in the mid-dungeon and scare the pants off because of your unspeakable secret. So there's some cool abilities you can get. All right. Traps are annoying and just frustrating. I hate them, but you can encounter traps. There's a trap table. This happens when you're searching or rolling on a new room. I guess. Rogues can disarm them. Obviously, locked doors is an optional rule. I've never played that rule, and I don't want to. And I like at the end here that after you've been through all of those rules, it gives you the things to remember. And this just kind of goes through those things that you typically forget, like the one I always forget, where a boss, when it's at half health, it loses one health, it goes down a level. I always forget that. So let's go over the ones to remember. One of your characters must carry, I forgot about this. You have to have one character holding a lantern at all times. And this can be frustrating because that means that character can't have a two-handed weapon, or they can't have a shield. They have to have a single-handed weapon. And if it's particularly hard for like a wizard, because a wizard has to have a hand free to cast a spell. But then if he's holding lantern, then he has no weapon. So a wizard attacking is useless. But you have to always have someone with that. If that person falls, somebody else has to pick up the lantern. Otherwise, everybody gets a -2 on attack and defense. It's not a good thing. Once you exit, you may not go back there. That's important. If you leave the area and come back in, you reset the dungeon. It becomes a whole nother dungeon. Keep track of monsters killed. So you do have a little monster tracker checklist, and it's important to check that as you go, because once you face 10 minions, you get an XP roll. Perform XP rolls immediately. You can't save them for later. And remember who the last one was, because you have to alternate who gets leveled up. Remember that bosses lose 1 level when wounded. Half-life, yeah. Always forget that. Assign treasure to the character that's actually carrying it. If there's gold, remember to some of the party's dwarves, if any. They get a bonus, I guess, for gold. I'm not sure how that works, because I've never used the dwarf. Scrolls may be assigned to any party members, but not barbarians. Total party kills happen. Clues, if used wisely, are one of the most versatile tricks up your sleeve. Okay. RPG light option. This was not in the printout that I had. So what is this about? 4 Against the Darkness has been designed for solo. Oh, this is just if you want to use it to actually do a role-playing game. And I wonder what that would be like with real people and friends. I'm sure that would be amazing. You can do wonderful. You've got some frequently asked questions, and we're not going to go through those. But I like how thorough these rules are. They've buttoned most things up. There are very few things left to chance or to question. There's a shorthand symbol for rules. I don't know. I don't use that. Maybe that would be helpful. And play sheet. This is cool. I like this little guide because I always keep this up because when you roll on a room to see what's inside or a corridor, so this is helpful because there are tables, but this kind of guides you through the workflow. So if I roll a 9, for instance, and it tells me what to do if I'm in a corridor or what to do if I'm in a regular room. In both cases, they're the same. So, but some of them are different. So, for instance, especially like if you roll a 12, this is the dragon's lair. This is a big deal. But that's only if I'm in a certain room. I have to be in a certain room for that to happen, like one of the larger rooms. If not, then it's a regular boss. If it's a room, and if it's a corridor, it's empty, and I can just search it. So that's an example. All right, then we have all our tables at the back of the book again. And Bob's your uncle. That's the rules to 4 Against Darkness. So let's play this game. Yes, let's get into it. We know how to play. We are now experts. And we're going to decide who we want. Let me go find my character sheet, and I'll be right back. All right, I got a stack of these are not the default ones, but they're a little bit better for when you get to higher levels, I guess. This is sent by Chudderly, my helper for this video series. And then we've got our printout of our the table. This table I refer to all the time, so I just like to keep that to the side. Let's get into this. I am excited. I don't know about how you feel about it, but I am really stoked about doing this adventure. So let's get started. And the very first person I'm going to have is a barbarian for sure. I identify with the barbarians who don't like magic. I love role-playing games, but I don't like magic usually. I don't like magic users. They're not my favorite people. I don't trust them. I don't like how weak they are. I identify with crazed, scary men and women with who run around and cut heads off before asking questions. That is my jam. And so that is going to be my main person, a barbarian, for sure. And we're going to call our barbarian... So I'm going to use pen for some things because I just like how it looks better. I think it shows up on camera better anyway. So let's go with... what's a good barbarian name? Percival. Percival came to my name. That sounds like a nerdy name. So our barbarian is on the more nerdy side. Let's not go with Percival, but what sounds kind of like that? Like maybe Perkins? Perkins the barbarian? Yeah, I like that. Perkins. It's kind of a last name as a first name. And Perkins, he's not your typical barbarian. He actually likes to knit in his off time. So around the campfire, you'll find him knitting loincloths typically. That's more of his speed or how, what he does to relax and become centered after a day of bloodletting. So it got, almost wrote that in pen. Got our level 1 barbarian. All right, so let's read about the barbarian, remind ourselves what this person does. Traits. A barbarian adds his level to the attack rolls. Barbarian may not use magic items, scrolls, or potions. He may grudgingly accept a healing from a cleric, since that's technically not magic but a divine favor, and may use holy water. Once per game, barbarian may perform a rage attack. During a rage attack, roll the attack die 3 times and choose the best result. If the rage attack hits a boss, inflict 2 wounds. Barbarians cannot read and therefore cannot use scrolls or gain any benefit from a book. All right, so armor allowed. We've got shield and light armor. So only light armor. He cannot use full plate or a shield. Any weapon is fine. Starting equipment, light armor and shield. So trappings and treasure, I guess that's where we put these things. I'm going to put light armor. Wait. Oh, armor. Oh, he is allowed to use a shield. Okay. That's good. Shield. I cannot spell. And a hand weapon. But you may trade in the shield and hand weapon for two-handed weapon. That's okay. We'll use a hand weapon, and we'll just go with a typical sword. You can decide whether it's a mace or a crushing, so we're just going to go with a typical long sword. Starting gold is, we'll put gold up here, is 6, right? Is that what I read? Oh, 1d6 gold pieces, so let's roll. 1d6 gold, sweet, 2 gold. And life is 7 plus levels, so he starts out with 8 health points. All right, that is our barbarian. Next, and we're gonna do this in marching order. I really love, although I don't trust typical magic users and like using them very often, I do like clerics a lot. I like having healing. And I like that they balance kind of their typical warrior stuff with healing. And I like them so much that I'm actually going to roll with 2 clerics this game. I hope that nobody's offended by that, but that to me is really exciting. And I'm going to say they're twins, male and female. So what would be good cleric twin names? Cleric. We'll go with Sven and Bren. So this is Bren, short for Brenna, level 1, and this is Sven. He is level 1. All right. So let's read about the cleric. The cleric adds half of his health rounded down to his attack rolls. So cleric adds his full level when he attacks undead creatures. For example, 4th level cleric attacks it +2 normally, but +4 versus undead. Okay. Armor, light armor, heavy armor, or shield. So we'll start out with light armor for both of them. Actually, with two shields, I think, and because they can heal, I think I would be remiss if I didn't take advantage of the barbarian's sheer power and give him something a little bit more. We're going to go two-handed. We're going to go with a great axe. So he can just slice his way through things, and then he's got his 2 friends to heal him if he gets messed up by not having as much defense. So wait, what was his attack then? Barbarian adds level to attack. So because he has a great axe, he gets +1, and he adds his level. So he gets +2 to attack. Okay. And our clerics, they can heal each other too. So maybe they'll do the same. We're going to go with, both of them are going to have 2-handed maces. No shields around here, folks. So that gives them +1 for the 2-handed mace. Because they're level 1, they can't add to their attacks. So in general, they just get +1 to their attacks. All right. But they have light armor, so no shields. So because we have light armor for everyone, they all get +1 to defense. Oh, they also get slings, which they can buy. I guess I should make sure that they can afford to do that. Slings shouldn't be too expensive. But let's roll how much gold they get first off. So Bren gets 5, and Sven gets 4. Slings are 4 gold pieces. So actually, Sven has 0 and Bren has 1, because we are going to buy some slays just to be able to do some ranged attacks. And then spells, they just get they get blessing and healing, and they can attack. They can do them both 3 times. So blessing will remove like statuses. Rage, she can become a rage monster. We're gonna make a big old box for that, for a barbarian. Our cleric starts with 4 health plus level, so 5 each. They can cast spells, scrolls. They add their level if the spell being cast is blessing. Only if it's blessing. In other cases, the spell from the scroll. And when the cleric casts heal, they will roll a d6 and add their level to the amount they can heal. All right, so my final character, I feel like we should have some magic ability or in our party. I don't know. Should go with an elf or wizard. I don't like wizards. It's funny, but I think we'll just dip our toe into it and we'll go with the elf. So the elf, let's read about the elf. I have not used the elf yet. An elf adds his level to attack rolls except when using two-handed weapons. An elf has +1 to his attack or spell roll when fighting orcs, including orclings and orc brutes. So they do not like orcs. I love all the tropes of this game. The elf adds +L to spell casting rolls like a wizard, including 2 spells cast from scrolls. Sweet. Armor allowed. Shield, light armor, heavy armor. Weapons allowed any. Spells. An elf may cast a single spell per level per adventure, but only if he's wearing light armor and not using a shield. Oh, I have to decide who is using the... So we're going to have the elf carry the lantern. So let's do that before we forget. Somebody has to carry the lantern, and we'll have it be our elf. So the lantern and a sword. That will be in their hand. So I have to decide, do I want a man or woman elf here? Second level elf may prepare 2 spells, and third may prepare 3. Elves may find additional spells in the adventure and add them to the repertoire of spells. Spells added when leveling may be used immediately. Starting equipment, like others, we'll go she. Light armor, hand weapon, we already did that, sword, and she gets a bow. And we're gonna go with, because I'm just not feeling super creative at the moment, I'm just gonna go with we're so full of tropes here. Let's just go, let's call her Ash. That's who I'm envisioning. Is that an E at the end? Ash? I don't know. We'll say that it is. Oh, and she gets 2 d6 for gold. Still only 3. All right. And then level 1 +4 is her health, so 5. Class is, it's elf. That is funny to me that elf is a class, it's not a race or a kin, whereas and dwarf and elf is their class, so they're defined by their kinship, whereas not in any other case. I don't have a problem with that. I just think it's funny. I would have designed it differently. I think they should have kinship separate from class, personally, occupation. Your full-time occupation is to be an elf. Sounds good. All right. Is that it? Oh, I need to choose spells. A spell. We're going to go with the sleep spell. Okay. I think that we're ready to dive into the dungeon. What do you guys think? I think we are. So let's get we're going to be referring to these pages, our entrance rooms, and the tables at the back. The room contents will be going back and forth here. Let's roll for an entrance room. We roll 1d6 and we go with 1. So I'm going to be fast forwarding through these drawing attempts every time that I draw these, because I don't want you to have to suffer through it. And I enjoy it. It's a very mindful process to sketch these. I don't want to hurry it up because I like it too much. Okay, we're in our entrance room. Now we roll. This is where we refer to our little flow chart to see what's in this room. We're in a room, so we go to 2. Oh, I'm supposed to do 2d6. Try that again. It's been a while. Oh. Okay. All right. That happened. So the dragon. The dragon is hanging out here at the entrance. Oh boy. So the conditions of the final boss have to be met. Because you roll a d6 to know if it's the final boss or not. The way it works is you roll a d6, and if it is a 6, then it's the final boss. If and you add 1 for each weird monster or boss monster that you have encountered, which I have encountered 0. So unless I roll a 6, this is not the final boss. So let's just hope that's not the case. Okay. Well. All right, so luckily it's not the final boss, but it is going to be not very fun. So small dragon, we'll call him Smalls. Smog is level 6, and he has 5 health points. And what else? He has 2 attacks. We get 3 treasure if we beat him at +1. Ugh, he's gonna be brutal. This is a hard monster to face from our first. Okay, so there are some rules for fire breathing as well. On each turn, breeze fire, inflicting 1 damage. So a roll is d6. D6, 1r2 is fire. And that does 1 damage to all characters. They have to save versus level 6. Or if it does not, then he bites 2 random. That's the 2 attacks. So he does either one of those. All right, I think we got it. Smalls the dragon. We're ready to fight him. So let's do that. We're gonna start out. So we could, if we wanted to at this point, we could say we're gonna let Smalls go first. And see what he does. He could give us a quest, but I don't want to run the. I don't know. Maybe do we? Do we want to run the risk of him just getting the first attack and breathing a bunch of fire? What were his? What were the chances we had that he would just be a nice guy? So if we rolled and let him go first, he's sleeping. And 2 to 3, we could bribe him all the gold of the party with a minimum of 100. I was going to say we don't have much gold, or 1 magic item which we don't have, so we can't bribe him anyway. 4 or 5, he's going to fight us, and 6, he's going to give us a quest. I don't want to risk it, and we have a sleep spell that we can cast on him, so that's what we're going to do. We're gonna fight this dragon first. So barbarian's going to go first. He's going to attack. He's got to get a 6 or higher with a +2 attack to inflict any damage. Okay, so 5. He does 7. Hits. The barbarian is able to use his great axe to take a swipe at the dragon, who's not prepared. Totally surprised by this, and he's able to do 1 damage. Alrighty. Next, we've got Bren, the female cleric, taking her 2-handed mace to the dragon's kneecap. And 6, which explodes, right? So I can roll again. 5, so 11 plus. So we've got 12 damage, which just barely doubles the level of Smalls. So Bren gets a phenomenal kneecap strike and does 2 damage. I can't believe the luck that we are having in this dungeon dive so far. In fact, we may not even need to use a sleep spell at this point. Sven will now see if he has what it takes to be part of this epic party so far. And he does do some good damage, but not quite as impressive as his twin sister, who has, she always was a little bit more. She develops more quickly. She always got better grades in school, and Spen's always just been playing catch up. He has a little bit of an inferiority complex, but he does love his sister. So Ash sees what's happening and decides it will not be necessary to put this dragon to sleep because this dragon is on its last leg. In fact, Ash could end it right now with her longsword if she doesn't screw it up. 3. What is her attack again? I forgot to put that down. Does she get any pluses? I think she gets half of her. I don't remember. I haven't used the elf yet. What does the elf get? Elf has, that's for her. Oh, +1 to his attack when fighting orcs. Oh, okay. So that's not amazing. So really just because she has a sword, she has just a 0, right? So she hits for 3. She would have to roll a 6 actually to hit Smalls the dragon to do anything. So maybe she should have cast a sleep spell. She's regretting that because really she just swipes the sword and Smalls looks at her like, what did you think that was gonna do? You brought a toothpick to a knife fight, Ash. It's not working out for you. All right, the dragon now gets a chance to fight back. He's pretty pissed off. 1 or 2 will breathe fire. Let's see if Smalls is that pissed. Nope. Just a regular attack for Smalls, who gets 2 attacks. So I'm gonna roll randomly to see who Smalls attacks. 4. So he's gonna take a stab at Ash. And 4, well, we're not going to attack the same person, so 3. Okay, Sven and Ash are going to get struck. So what they've got to do is they've got to use their defense, and Ash just has a, oops, I wrote that, I don't need to write that in pen. Ash has defense, she has light armor, and, oh, that does give her a +1 defense. So they both got to roll above a 6. Otherwise, they take damage, which is not fun. Not fun to get bitten. Sven is going to have to roll a 6. And by the way, if you roll a 6, you always block. And if you roll a 1, you always miss. So that's... there's always a chance, even if your defense doesn't add up, anyway, I have to roll a 6 though, even with +1 defense. Because our level is so low, we have to roll a 6. Otherwise, we take damage. So, nope for Sven. Oh, Ash, wow. So, not a lucky hit, but definitely a lucky dodge. Because she's lithe and acrobatic and graceful, she is able to dodge the bite. But Sven feels the bite, so he's got 4 out of 5 health. All right, Barbarian Perkins. Let's see if he can finish off Smalls the dragon. 4, 6 attack. He does. He kills Smalls, and that was a lucky fight. I feel like we dodged a bullet, being brand new questers. That was close, but exciting. And now we get 3 treasures at +1 to the table roll, and that's really exciting. So this is fun. This is fun. I'm enjoying this this luck that we've been enjoying. So let's do our treasure table. So roll number 1 is a 6. Yes, so that makes it... I just can't believe the luck we're having. 1 random magic item from the magic treasure. So let's see. 5, potion of healing. Yes, all right. 3, a scroll with a random spell. And then let's roll on the random spell table to see which one. So we've got the scroll of escape. We'll give that to Ash. And then 1 more. 5. 1 gem worth 2d6 times 5. I have to do math. Come on, you guys. You should know that I can't do that. 4. 20, a gem worth 20 gold. That was fun. Oh, I forgot to add 1 to those rolls. Oops. Oopsies. So that would not have been a gem. That would have been a 1 item of jewelry worth 3d6 times 10. That's a lot better. Let's try that. 3d6, so 3, let's see, 6, 8, 80. That's better. So 80 gold jewelry. That's a lot better. And then the other one, what did I roll? I rolled a scroll, so that was not what we got. We did not get a scroll of escape. What we got instead was 1 gem. I should have just kept the 1 gem. Whatever. We got a 10 times 5 is 50. 50 gem. And then also for beating a boss, we get an XP. We get an XP roll. And when I'm running clerics, I like to level them up first, because if they get leveled up, they get +1 to their attack, because you divide their level by 1 and add to their attack. And right now we're rounding down. We're not getting that +1. So I'm going to level up Bren and Sven first. So we'll go with Bren. Bren deserves it. She was stellar with her kneecap strike. So 4. She definitely rolled above a 1, so she gets to go to level 2. So a level 2 cleric who now gets +2 to her attack and gets 6 health points. So 6 of 6. All right, that is awesome. Let's see which way we want to go. So we have 3 ways. I usually go clockwise. So let's go. Let's see what's in this clockwise room. We've got a. Well, that was a. Sorry, what was it? The 30. So we'll do. Let me do this right. So pink will be the denominator, or not the denominator. Pink will be the 10s. Green will be the 1s. So 26. All right. Well, T6 is a little room, which I have to rotate. So. Okay, so it's a corridor. Let's see what's in this corridor. It's a 7. And a 7 means it's a minion. So we have got to fight some minions. Roll to see what it is. Oops. That's a 1d6. 3. Hobgoblins. Da, 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 da. Hobgoblins are level 4. They get 1 treasure. I can't spell. Treasure at +1. And they get... Oh, there's D6 hobgoblins. So we have to see how many we fight. Oh, just 1. Oh, we are just getting so unbelievably lucky. So we will not wait. In fact, it probably wasn't worth all the time it took just to write that. Oh, gosh. So our barbarian missed... Perkins was not his best strike. He was surprised, though. I mean, he wanders in, sees this random hobgoblin, and he's not too experienced yet. So once again, Bren has to take a leadership position and kill herself, the one lone hobgoblin, and that hobgoblin is dead. So we get 1 treasure at +1 again on the treasure table. So that gets us a 6, another magic item. I cannot believe how good we are doing. We get a wand of sleep. So Ash is going to take that because she's the queen of sleep. All right, let's move on to the next room. Okay, 64. That's going to be a big room, I think. I think the larger rooms are in the 60s. I'm maybe not. That's just a long corridor followed by it's a popsicle room. That's what it is. Okay, let's see what's in our popsicle room. 1. Oh, I always forget. I rolled 2 dice. 6. It's vermin. Okay, I have to say something about vermin. I really hate fighting vermin, and the reason why is because they don't give you XP. Oh, that is one thing I forgot. So we fought a minion, and I need to track how many minions that we fight. So I'll do that here. Once we fight, is it 10? Oh, that's a good question. Is it 10 encounters of minions or is it 10 minions? Holy cow, my mind has just been blown because the way I was doing it before was I'd have to actually have 10 encounters with minions. But if it's 10 minions, well, that just changes everything. Well, let's consult the rules because I think I screwed that up. So it says 10 minions encountered. 10 minions encountered. That's confusing because does that mean that would imply that it's just the total 10, right? But then it's like 10 minion encounters. Minions encountered. If it was 10 minion encounters, then it would be like I'd have to fight 10 groups of minions. But because it says 10 minions encountered, then it's just 10 total, right? I think that's the case. Let's see what it talks about it in the actual book. 1 XP roll every time you defeat a boss or 10 minion encounters. See, it's confusing because those seem to contradict. Interesting. 10 minion encounters, but this is also talked about in one other place. Okay, here it is. Keep a tally of your encounters with minions. Surviving 10 encounters gives you 1 XP roll. Okay, so it's 10 encounters. So we had 1 encounter. Well, I'll just do this way. Okay, I was gonna say that would make a massive difference. You would level up so much faster otherwise. Okay, kill the hobgoblin. Where were we? Let's see what the next room is. So you got a 65. Rolling high this game, guys. I think the dice are loaded. What do you think? 65 is a corridor. Okay, let's see what is in this corridor. We've got 3. And that is a trap. Oh, I hate traps. I really hate traps so much. Traps are the worst. Oh gosh, traps. Go away, traps. 4. Bear trap, level 4. Hitting the character, leading the march order. So it's a level 4 trap. So our Perkins must roll a 4 or higher to avoid the trap. I believe, is it 4 or higher? Or is it a 5 or 6? Oh gosh, I don't remember. Stupid traps. You have to beat the level, so I have to roll 5 or 6 or I get hit. Okay. Of course not. So we got 7 out of 8 for Perkins. All right, stupid trap. But I think you can search, right? After I encounter trap, isn't that? Yes, okay. So I can search on the treasure table. So at least there's a consolation prize. We punch you, and then we give you a lollipop. For 1 gem, worth 2d6 times 5. 8 times 5. So we get a gem worth 40. We've been giving them all to Ash, so we'll continue to do that. Even though Perkins is the one that took the bear trap. All right, let's see what the next room is. This is fun. 36. Traps aren't fun. Everything else is fun. All right, we've got, this is a weirdly shaped one. All right, this is a weird shaped room, so something weird is bound to be in it, right? It stands to reason. So we've got a 7, and it is minions. Good. I want to fight more minions. And usually I try to do this right when I roll the minions, otherwise I always forget. So this is our second group of minions that we're fighting. All right, let's go to our minion table. For D6 orcs, yes, Ash is gonna love this. She's gonna love fighting her nemesis, the orcs. All right, so we've got D3 orcs. Well, 1 orc. Oh man, This is not even like, so far, the challenge is, we +1. So there's 2. There's 2 orcs. And they're level 4. Normal treasure. They're afraid of magic and must test morale each time one or more is killed by a spell. If a spell has caused their numbers to drop below 50%, test their morale at -1. They never have magic items in their treasure. Treat any rolled magic as D6 times D6 gold piece instead. Oh, okay. And all right, there's their reactions, but we will attack them per the norm. So let's do it. Perkins. Let's go. Oh, I just remembered who Perkins is. Perkins is he's in Star Wars. He's the big guy, right? Oh, that's Porkins. And he died in vain early on in the battle of, what battle was that? Tatooine? Not Tatooine. Is that what it was? Anyway, Star Wars lore. I'm a little out of practice, but Perkins is not Porkins. They're very different because Porkins is not going to die in the first battle. He proved that. He defeated a small dragon his first battle. So take that, Porkins. And here's our roll. Enough talk. 4. So level 4, he does kill one of the orcs. And Bren is seeing this, or Ash, sorry, and is like, no way. I didn't come all this way not to kill me some bastard orcs. So she is going to fight her way to the front of the party and take a swing. Are we in a corridor? No, we're not. We're in a room. I just forget that rule. But she's going to take a swing because she gets to add her level to her attack. And she is going to explode because she hates orcs so much. She has 7 plus 1 is 8, and she will definitely destroy utterly. She will cave in the face of our second orc. And that, man, these battles are just, they don't normally go this way, guys. I promise this game is not quite this easy normally. Although I will say this, I think it's on the easier end. I do think maybe I've just been getting lucky to get to games that I played, but I have not found. I've only died one of my characters once, and that's hours of playing. So 1 gem, 2d6 times 5, we get 10. So another 50 gold worth of gem. We're just racking up these gems. All right, let's move to the next realm. This is kind of how it goes, right? It's, you draw the room. You have your little loop that you follow. So this one has to go this way. Oops, I kind of did it wrong. That's okay. It was a dead end anyway. Dead end room. Hopefully it's not too terrible of a creature. I think that's 7. I think that's what? A minion, right? Yes, minion. So let's see what minion we get to fight this time. And per what I was saying earlier, I will add the minion now, so don't forget. So it's 3 minions faced. 1d6 is 2d, or a d6 plus 3. I rolled a 2 of goblins, so that'll be 5 goblins. Oh. 5 gobbies. And they are level 3. They get treasure up at -1. And they have a 1 in 6 chance of gaining a surprise. Okay. Thus acting first. Nope. They're only level 3, so we should cut through them in fairly short order. Let's do 5 boxes. I like to fill in boxes. It's a little bit like endorphin releasing for me. 11. Oh, if she'd gotten 1 more, she would have killed the last 3 goblins in 1 strike. But so far, she has been more effective than Perkins, who is our best warrior. All right, Sven, come on, buddy. We got to pull your weight. Okay. I mean, he did it, right? But it was not impressive. A pack of 3 does finish off the last goblin, and we get our treasure at a -1 on the table, on the treasure table. Because goblins, they're not as rich. They aren't as privileged as some of the other minions. 2d6 gold pieces. Not a lot of gold. 10 gold pieces. So we'll add that to Perkins. It has 12 gold pieces. Sure, why not? Okay, let's go back and go. Ooh, so now we have to backtrack, right? We have to go. Okay, we have a room here. So we have to backtrack by 1. That means that we might encounter a hidden monster. We have to roll not a 1. Okay, no hidden monster, so we're good. So now we roll to see what this ring is. And we get a 31. Again, when I'm doing this, pink is our 10th place. The way I do. And the reason for that is because pink is my favorite color. I don't know if you knew that about me, but it's true. I love pink. So if you send anything to my temporarily displaced P.O. box and you have a decision on what color it should be, please send it in pink. Pink and black. I like that combination. Black and pink together just makes me happy. Not sure exactly why. But that's that's the way it is. Oops. Oh, yes. So 6. 6 for our chart tells us that, see, vermin. We have to fight vermin. I do not love vermin. Vermin don't give you an XP roll. And vermin sometimes don't give you treasure. And I hate them. I just feel like in this game, they're a waste of time. I think they're a waste of time. They don't bring me pleasure. Okay, so these are 2d6 skeletal rats. So we have 7 skeletal rats that are level 3. They don't get treasure. This is a waste. This is what we call a waste of time. Because I'm not getting anything out of it. Yeah, I mean, they're just not my favorite. I would prefer... What did I say? I was looking at the minion table. No treasure. Oh, yeah. So, okay. Yeah, so I would just prefer... I mean, there should be some. I believe there should be some XP gained. This is... And in fact, this is another house rule. There's 2 rules that I would change with this game. Or I do change because... what's the point of a game like this if you don't enjoy it? If you're not having fun and if it's frustrating you too much, I mean, obviously there needs to be some tension and release. There needs to be that, or it's like, what's the point really, right? I mean, what's the point of anything really? We don't need to get all philosophical, but what I do want to say is that but having a worthless vermin battle that all it does is take time and it's annoying. You get nothing out of it. And often, especially at higher levels, you don't even take damage, really. Like, it doesn't even harm you. So it literally is pretty much just a waste of time. And sometime later, I'll admit it, later levels when I'm higher, like level 4 or 5, and I face vermin and I haven't kind of leveled up to one of the more advanced books. I'm still kind of in these early level dungeons. I roll a vermin and I skip it. I don't do it. I don't do the vermin. It's not worth it. And so what I say is, though, my house rule is that if you do fight vermin, you do get XP. And you can, if you want to do that, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to get half. I'm going to add half a point to the minion table. But for me, I add a full point because that's just how I feel about it. And that's what I'm going to do. And it's my game and it's my time. And I'm going to add that house rule. So a couple of house rules that I add, that's one of them. Otherwise, I just get way too annoyed. So I'm happy to fight 7 rats now because I'm going to get something out of that, which makes sense, right? In real life, like if you're killing rats, you're gaining experience. The experience of killing level 1 rats. It's not going to change your life. Any character wounded has a 1 in 6 chance of losing 1 additional life due to an infected wound. Well, that's just nasty for a vermin. Okay. Let's fight some vermin. These are level 1, so we should go through these fairly quickly. Oh my goodness. So Perkins, he comes in just with a devastating rat attack. I don't know if there's rats, a lot of rats where he's from in the barbarian lands, but for some reason, he's a gifted rat destroyer rats, although I did just roll a 1. So anyway, 9, kills himself oh my, why did I even bother? In one fell swoop, we've killed all the rats. So there you have it. That was a thing, and it happened. Let's find our next room. Let's not waste any time. This is room number 45, or corridor. Could be a corridor. 45, it's a cross-shaped corridor. 10. 10 is a weird monster. I like fighting things on the weird monster table because they're all just really unique and fun, and you do get XP out of fighting them. So that's how I always get excited when I roll on the weird monster table. So let's do it. We're gonna fight I haven't seen this before. Catoblepas. What is that? Catoblepas. Maybe that's something in your timeline or your future because I've never heard of that. Catoplas. It's a level 4. Oh, I'm not using pen. I guess it doesn't matter. Level 4 cat thing. I'm not even gonna try to spell that. 4 health points. +1 to treasure, but I only get 1 treasure. Treasure +1. All characters at the beginning of the battle must save versus 4 gaze attack or lose a life. Okay. All right. So the catapulta. We're just gonna call him the cat thing. The cat thing. All right, so let's do this gaze thing. Defend against the gaze. So 5 or 6 for each person. Perkins, no. Bren, no. Sven, yes. Ash, yes. All right, so we get hit with a gaze. Both Perkins and Bren, who are on the front row, get hit with a gaze. Now, because we're in a corridor fighting our cat thing, only Perkins and Bren can strike at it with their weapons. Sven and Ash will have to use ranged. And good thing Sven has a sling, and Ash has a bow, and it can also cast sleep. And I think this is a good time, as good a time as any to cast sleep. But we'll see how the battle's going. Let's have Perkins strike first for now. He will not, I think we'll save rage, probably use sleep. So 5, 7 damage, level 4, so not quite enough to do 2 wounds. Bummer, but we did do 1. Bren takes her strike next, and she hits with a 5, so that's good enough for 1 damage with her 2-handed mace. Sven will whip out the sling. The sling does not get the bonus. It's going to do, I think actually it's a -1, in fact. Let's remind ourselves, shall we? Sling. This weapon works like a bow, but a -1. It's crushing. -1 crushing. So it is crushing that it only does -1 damage. So let's see if Sven can aim well enough and provide enough force. 3, -1, 2. No. Sven is not good enough with the sling to do any damage. Ash will invoke her sleep spell because I am not excited about our cat friend having the ability to strike. So Ash gets +1 to spells, so she needs to get 3 or better is all. And she nails it. So Katniss is asleep. I forgot what that meant, though. Let's look. Oh, it straight up defeats the boss. So that's nice. Goes to sleep, and we can two bad things to it. Okay. Treasure. I get to roll on a treasure +1, plus I get XP, and that's the more exciting thing. But let's do the treasure first. So we get 4. 1 gem or 2d6 times 5. 10, so a 50, another 50 gem. So we're just going to go 2x on that guy. And we are going to roll to level up Sven. Because like I was saying, I level up my clerics first too. You'd have to roll a 1 not to get it, so he gets it. Gets to level up. Sven is not impressive with his rolls, I'll say that. He's a clumsy guy overall, but I'm glad he's leveling up. He now has 5 out of 6 health. And everyone's pretty healthy so far, so no need yet to do any spells. Oh, but because we fought a boss, we do need to do this. A boss and a weird monster. We got to keep track of those because every time we fight one of these, we have to add it to the counter because then when we roll for the final boss, we have to add that too. So we've dealt with 2 of them. This is close enough to that edge that I'm actually going to cap it. And we're going to go down this way. 52. All right. Interesting shape. This is a large room. It's an interesting shaped room. A good place for a small dragon. You have to have I think you have to have 12 tiles or more to roll and have a small dragon appear, I believe. Let's see what's in this room. 10. That would be another weird monster. Actually, I'm so excited about this. Yes, so we've fought now 3 baddies, large baddies. All right, let's see what kind of weirdness we're gonna get this time. We get a minotaur. So a minotaur is level 5. They're a little tougher. Level 5. They have 4 health points, life points. I don't know why sometimes I draw on pen, sometimes I draw on pencil. Oh, they had 2 attacks. Due to the power of his bullish charge, the first defense roll gets a -1. Minotaurs hate halflings. Well, that's racist. They hate you too, Minotaur. Okay. So we will not give him any time to react. Hopefully we'll kill him before he has a chance to bull rush us. Barbarian. Maybe this is a good time for a rage. I don't know. I kind of feel like I need to save that for the final boss though. I'm gonna take a stab at him, quite literally. Actually, I don't know. Do you stab with a great axe? Whatever you do with a great axe, that's what we're gonna do right now, and we're gonna miss. Perkins missed. So Bren will take a smash with her 2-handed mace. 3 + 2 is 5, right at the level. So she does do 1 damage. Sven will take his shot. 5, 7. He's able to do his own point of damage. Good job, Sven. Pulling his weight. And Ash is tempted to cast the sleep spell, but she doesn't want to sleep. So she could cast... Oh, I did cast sleep. I forgot. We did that. Oopsies, I forgot. So that's not even an option, and she's not going to use the 1, so let's just try to roll a 5 or 6. A 1. Ash misses. All right, so our hobgoblin is pissed. Of course, he's going to fight Perkins, and then Bren with his 2 attacks. Usually, it'll attack the front 2 people in the party. Or I forget. Oh, yeah, we're in the room. We're not in a corridor. When it comes to defending, which we haven't done a lot of, we managed to kill all of these things without them having much of a chance to retaliate. But in this case, we've got level 5 coming at us. And the way that this works is I do get a +1 defense on all of my characters. They all have +1. But I have to get higher than the level of the hobgoblin. So I have to roll a 5 or a 6, or I do not defend. And that is not fun. So let's go at it. All right. Perkins is going to get struck by the hobgoblin. Oh, it's not a hobgoblin. It's a minotaur. Has level 5, but it's bull rush attack. The very first charge, the first defense roll is at -1. So not only did he roll a 3 and not come up with enough to defend it, but he gets a -1 to it. So we do take. So Perkins does take a hit. He's down to 5. And now let's see if Bren is any more lucky. 5 or 6. 5 or 6. Nope. So she also takes a hit from our Minotaur down to 4. All right. Let's see if our party can finish off the Minotaur. Perkins will take another swipe with his great axe. 6. He does deal some damage. Bren's turn. 1 misses. And that's her second miss. Brenda's off. Something it's not jiving for her. Let's see if Fenn's any luckier. He is. And he finishes off the Minotaur, which gives us normal treasure, but does give us XP. I love it. I love getting XP. It makes me happy. So let's roll for treasure first, though. 6. Yes, that means we get a magic treasure table roll, which gets us a potion of healing. I like having potions of healing around. They're nice to have. Sometimes I sell them depending on how much need I have for gold. If I'm right near something I need to buy. So we're going to level up. We've leveled up our 2 clerics. Let's go. We're going to level up Perkins next. So as long as I don't roll a 1, we're good. All right. So Perkins goes to level 2. His attack moves up 2 + 3. And his health goes 6 of 9. So we can go in this room, but it might get truncated. 32. Let's find out. Oh, it's a corridor. And this is going to be weird. Because it's up, whenever I'm close to the wall, we have to do some changes to what we get. So, see what's in this corridor is a freaking vermin. Hate vermin. They're the worst. 1, 3d6 rats again. So 8. Oh my god. 13 rats. Are you kidding me? Didn't we already have rats in here? Yes, we have them right there. So they are level 1. Is that what that is? I think it's a 1. So we have 13 of them. I am not going to do a bunch of chat boxes. We'll just write 13. 13 level 1 rats. All right, Perkins. Let's see if you can bring out the rat extermination ability again. So 7 rats. Gosh. 6 left for Bren. 2, 4, 2 left. And Sven take care of them. All right. That's kind of how it goes. Killing rats. They don't even get a chance to attack. It's ridiculous. So I don't get a treasure roll, and technically I'm not supposed to get an XP to the minions, but I'm good because I'm a rebel. Let's go to the next room. 46. All right. So this room is going to be weird because we are at the bottom of our... Not exactly the right shape, but that's what we're going to do. And it's a 9, which is empty, but I can search it. So let's go to our search table. I haven't done this yet. All right, room contents. We got 7. So it's the minions. Okay, so it's not a D after all. That's fine. I would rather fight. 5 D3 trolls. Before we do that, we need to add one to our minions. So we've got 6 minions that we're going to be fighting. We'll have fought. A D3 troll. So just one troll. Trolls. A normal treasure, they regenerate. Unless killed by a spell or a character uses 1 attack to chop an already killed troll. So you have to hit him twice. Otherwise, on a D5 or 6, then they will come back to life and continue to fight. Cool. There's only one, though. So I'm not too worried about the way this is going to go. So let's just get it over with. 8. Yep. Troll's dead. So 1 treasure. So far, this has really not been challenging. In fact, this has probably been the easiest time I've ever had at this game. That is not normal. 46 gold. Normally slower. I did 2 gold from that troll. Oh boy. All right. Well, get to Ash. 5 gold. Normally it's a little more challenging than this. This is, but you know what? I am enjoying it. I love to fill out these little dungeon maps. It's just so, I don't know why. I just enjoy it so much. The thing I wish, actually, I'm going to save it. I'll save it for my review. The thing I wish. I'm not going to tell you what that is. You'll just have to wait and see or fast forward the video. Hard to remember. 5. Empty. Special feature table on a D6. All right. I'm glad that I get to do that. This is a little more rare, the special feature table. But it's not all good. Some bad things can happen on this table. Okay, wandering monster. 1d6, 1 to 3 is a vermin. 4, a minion. 5, weird. 6, boss. Reroll on any small dragons. A boss monster met as a wandering monster cannot be the final boss. All right. 3, it is vermin. Of course it's vermin. But you know what? That kind of rolled off the edge, so I'm going to reroll it. Okay, I won't. Ugh, I just hate vermin and traps. They're the 2 things I hate in this game the most. So let's see what kind of vermin we're going to get for giant centipedes. And I am giving myself a minion point because that's how I roll. Giant centipedes, D6. 6 giant centipedes. They are level 3. They don't give treasure. Any character wounded by a giant centipede must save versus level 2 poison or lose an additional life. And there are 6 of them. 1, 2, 3. I don't even want to bother. These things will be dead on the first rounds. They almost always are. It's like, what's the point? What is the point? 2. Well, at least he didn't miss. Plus 3 is 5. And there's 2 left. So Bren, and she kills the rest. I mean, really, like, why do we do this? It really is like, at that level, it's just kind of busy work because you don't get anything out of it. Except, I know I've been saying this over and over again, so I'll stop saying it. 56. All right. Ooh, a big room, very big room. So this is gonna bump. All right. Let's see what sort of monstrosity we find in this room. We've got 8, which I think is minions. Yep. All right, more minions. So before we see what the minion is, we'll add to our checklist. Exciting, we're almost there. Just 2 more minions and we'll be able to level up again, or roll to level up. Let's see what kind of minion we fight in the meantime. Hobgoblins, D6 hobgoblins. So there's 6 hobgoblins. For once we might actually get sort of a challenge. So I think we had, oh yeah, we have hobgoblins already. So let's go ahead and add 6 more. And let's have Perkins take the first swing like usual. 4, 7, so not enough to kill 2 hobgoblins. Just kills 1. Let's see what Bren can do. 3 plus 2 is 5, so only 1 herself. Sven. 5. He also kills himself a hobgoblin. And Ash will do her best to roll 4 or higher. And she misses. Ash is she's just not the warrior that the others are. And she also just doesn't have a lot to work with as far as spells. So right now, she's a lantern holder. That's mainly what she is. But later, when she starts to get more spells, she'll start to do a lot more. So hobgoblins, I have to defend them. I have to roll over a 4, actually over a 3 because of that +1 defense. So over a 3. Yes, Perkins defends successfully. Brandon does not. So Brandon's starting to get a little low. He's down to 3. Oh, you know what I've been forgetting to do? 5. We're getting to roll on morale. These hobgoblins are half of them are dead, so I should be rolling to see if they flee. And they basically have a 50% chance to flee. So I should have done that first. But we'll go ahead and do that now. I think it's if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, they run away, but I reverse that in the rolls because typically the higher, I want to keep higher means better. So if I roll 4, 5, or 6, they run away. 1, 2, and 3, they do not. And they do. So that damage was not done earlier, and they ran away. And they give me 1 treasure at +1. So let's do that. Alrighty. 5, so I get to roll, it's a 6, so I get to roll on the magic treasure table. And I get a magic weapon. Okay, see, this is exciting, and I was hoping this would happen a little more often, but that's okay. So I can get a magic weapon that gives +1 to its user's attack rolls. This is a permanent magic item, so I rolled a d6 to determine what type it is. 1 is that it's a light hand weapon, crushing. 2, it's a slashing light hand weapon. 3, crushing hand weapon. 4 to 5 is a slashing hand weapon, and 6 is a bow. So I really hope that I roll more than a 3, because a light hand weapon, none of my characters use light hand weapons. Yay, it's a 6. That's exciting. So it's a bow. Ash now gets a magical bow. It's a magic bow. And it gives her a +1 attack for ranged, but not for melee. And I can't erase that 0 because I wrote it in pen. But she's going to probably stick with her bow, but I think my understanding is that you can only use a bow from a distance. So once you're in a room, if there are enough minions or bad guys, if there are 4 or more, she cannot use her bow, because that means there's enough to be close to her. But if there are 3, then she can. All right. That's cool, though. That's exciting. So she'll actually have a weapon that does some damage. It's not magic. So that's... Got to fill in the granite. So we're in this room, and we have to backtrack now because we pretty much dead-ended all of this. We have to go all the way back to the starting room now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 rolls. And the way I usually do this is I roll them all at once. Because if I have a 1 in 6 chance of each of those rolls to have a wandering monster appear. So we're just going to do that all at once. It's not like how you do it in the rules, but that's how I do it. So we'll do this. We'll just see how many 1s we get. No 1s the first roll. None. And none. So no wandering monster. That's great. We're back in the entrance. Now we're rolling to see what's in here. So I have a 26. All right. It's funny because it's the same room we started in, or the same corridor we got before from the entrance. And then it's a 6, and that is of course it is. It's vermin. Blast of vermin. Let's see what vermin we face. It is 2d6 goblins, swarmlings. So we have 3. 3 goblin swarmlings. Treasures at -1. At least they give you treasure. And yeah, that's basically it. So let's fight these swarmlings. And we're in the corridor. So that means that only the front 2 people can strike with melee. So Perkins strikes first. Oh, how many did I say there was? Shoot, I already forgot how much I rolled. Dang it. I could roll back the VHS tape to remind myself, but too lazy for that, so we'll just re-roll. Oh, we got 6. I'm sure that was more than I rolled before. But that's okay, because I think that I will plow through these 6 fairly quickly. Alright, so he explodes his first roll. I always do that. 7, 10. And they level 3, so that means that Perkins kills 3 of them in the first shot. So Bren, low attack, she will hit for just one of them. Spin 2, 4, one of them. And let's see if Ash. Oh, except there were 6 of them. So oh yeah, you can the very first turn you can use your bow. So we'll see how her new magic bow performs. 2, 3. She does kill one of them with her flashy new magic bow. And Bob's your uncle. We killed some vermin. All right, let's go to the next room. 12. All right, another corridor. 51. Oh, I need to roll. Oh, that's okay, 6. 6. More vermin. Of course there's more vermin. And there, another hobgoblin swarmlings. That makes sense, though, right? We just fought some here, so now we're going to wade through another bunch of them, and this time there are 8 of them. 8 hobgoblin swarmlings. We're just going to say 8 of 8. Sure, why not? Okay, Perkins, take us home. All right. Critical hit, 7, 10. That's 3. We have 5 left. Bren will strike. She will hit for 6. That's enough for 2 hobgoblins. There are now 3 left. Sven, 5, 6, 7. He kills 2. This is a repeat of last time. There is 1 hobgoblin left. Ash will strike for 5 and kill it. Wow. And oh, I forgot to roll treasure last time. So we're going to get 2 treasure, but at -1 on the treasure roll table. So the first one was a 2. That's 2d6 gold. So that's 10 gold. All right, well, that's Sven's gold. Okay, next one. 3 scroll, random scroll spell, which is a fireball. That's cool. We're actually really excited about that. So fireball. And because we fought our 10th thing, we get experience boost. And so everyone's at level 2 but Ash, so it's her turn. And she does get to level 2. Level 2, and I think she gets a new spell, right? If I'm not mistaken. So let's find out what spell she gets. Let's see. I think I wanted her to have Fireball. Fireball. This spell works like an attack roll. The wizard adds his level to the roll. Fireball does not affect dragons, but it does affect zombie dragons. Used against minions, Fireball slays a number of creatures equal to the wizard's die roll, minus the level of the minions. Wait, a number of creatures equal to the wizard's die roll minus the level of the minions. The minions of one creature is a minimum of 1 creature is always slain. Fireball. Oh, and she does get more health. So she is now 6 of 6. Beauty. Let's see what's in the next room. 52. So pretty much, if we do a boss fight, we will be fighting the end boss for sure at this point, because we have fought. Well, I guess that's not for sure. If we roll a 3 or higher, we will be facing the final boss. Anyway, I don't know why I brought that up. All right, 11. Okay, speak of the devil. This is going to be a boss fight, or probably, it is a boss fight, because we rolled 11, but we have to roll to see if this is the final boss, and that'd be great if it did. Like, I feel like we're about to that 45-ish mark. I don't know how much time has been spent, but it feels like, it's about there. And so this would be a good time for a boss fight. All we need is a 3 or better, I believe. We did not get it. So this is not the boss fight. That's okay. I'm having fun. Don't need to fight the boss yet. But it is another boss, so we'll add it to that. And let's see what kind of boss it is. It's not the final boss, but it is a boss. It is a orc brute. Yes, because Ash gets a bump against orcs, so that's exciting. But may not have any magic items. Treat 2d6 gold instead. Didn't we fight? Did we not fight? Oh, we fought orcs, but not an orc brute. Perkins. 4. 7. So enough to do 1 damage to the orc brute. Bread. 7 again. Just plinking away at the orc brute. Sven. 7. We're all just gonna roll 7s today, apparently. And Ash, with her shiny new orc slaying bow, she gets to add her level to her attack, so she's gonna get +3 to this orc strike. So 7. Oh, we didn't end up killing. If anyone could have mustered a 10, a roll of a 10 or higher total roll, then orc brute would be dead. But it is not dead, and it gets 2 attacks. So 2 attacks against. Actually, I'm gonna. Yeah, I mean they're 2 attacks. Technically, I can choose, but I like to do random. So we'll see. It attack 2 people. It's gonna attack Bren, and it's gonna attack Ash. Ash makes sense because orcs hate elves just as much as elves hate orcs, as everyone knows. So orc is level 5. Bren must roll a 5 or better with a +1 defense. So 2. Bren does not, so down to 3 health. And Ash, 5 or better. No. So Ash is down to 5 as well. Okay, let's finish off this. Orc brute Perkins strikes for 7. We just roll 7s apparently against orc brutes. That's all we roll. Orc brute is dead. We get a treasure at +1, and we get an experience. I love getting experience. It's so exciting. But let's find our treasure first. So we get 4 + 1 is 5. Jewelry, we're 3d6 times 10. So 8. Oh, nice roll. 14. 140 gold worth of jewelry. Love it. Love it, love it. And we can level someone up. Perkins, might as well. So we have to get a 3 or better. Yes. So Perkins is now level 3. Perkins now gets +4 to attack and 7 of 10 health. All right, Brett is getting a little low on health. I could use the healing, but I think I'll wait just till she takes just a little bit more damage. All right, let's continue on through this dungeon. 56. Oh, another big room. I like these big rooms. They're fun. All right, let's see what's in this big room, shall we? 11, yes! We get to fight a boss. And because we get +4 this roll, as long as we roll a 2 or higher, this is going to be our final boss. And we did. So yes, this is exciting. So this is going to be the last battle. Well, not necessarily, because we do have to make our way back out, but this could be our last battle with our final boss. And let's see what our final boss is on the boss table. It's a mummy. This is actually really nice because we have 2 clerics. So our mummy is probably gonna be a pretty easy battle. So let's change the way we're doing this. So All right. So our mummy is level 5. It gets 2 attacks. Any character killed by a mummy becomes another mummy and must be fought by the party. Mummies are attacked +2 by fireball spells. Nice, I just got the fireball spell. Mummies never test morale. They always fight. I feel like we couldn't have asked for a better boss fight, honestly. This dungeon has been, I'm just gonna say, this has been so easy. It's not normally like this. I hope that this doesn't give you the impression that this game is super easy and that it's not even a challenge, because that's not true usually. In this case, it just sort of has been. So, all right, Perkins. Oh, roll the pink. You gotta roll pink. That's my favorite color. Okay, Perkins misses. He's so frightened by this horrible undead monster. Okay, but Bren is not. She's not intimidated, which is not surprising. Bren is just... She is not a lot of... She's unflappable, really. So she rolled a 6. She's exploring. Let's see what else. Oh, 5. Nice. 11. Plus she gets her full level. So she gets 13 against the level 5 mummy, which is enough for 2 health damage. That was a very good strike. She really hates these affronts to her religious values. And Sven doesn't quite feel the same, or maybe he's just scared because he missed. Ash is going to cast Fireball, and I forgot how that works already. Okay, so Fireball is just a regular attack, but it gets +2 against the zombie. So Ash gets +2 when she attacks with Fireball. So, oh, yes. So it does say it attacks like a normal attack, so I'm assuming that means it can explode. So we get 9 +2 for her level. That's 11 +2 because it's a mummy is 13. We only needed 10. The mummy is obliterated. It's like lighting it was like lighting a roll of toilet paper dipped in kerosene on fire. And that was the easiest final boss level I've ever. Mummy's dead. We get 2 treasures, and because it's the final boss, actually we get more than that, and you get bigger rewards for the final boss. This has just really kind of been super easy, but it's still kind of fun. I can't lie, it's been enjoyable. So when you face the final boss, it says the reward is gold is tripled or increased by 100 gold point, whatever is best for you. And if it has magic item in its treasure, you will find 2 magic items instead. So let's do the treasure. We do get treasure at the +2, and we get to triple it. So here we go. So we get 6. It is a magic item. And we get the best one, which is a Fireball Staff. Allows to cast Fireball spell twice, then its power depleted. Only wizards may use it. And the user's level... only wizards. Elves can't use it. Ah, bummer. That's a shame. Well, we can sell it. Staffs are worth like 100 gold, I think. And plus, we get 1 more magic item. So I hope I roll a 4, honestly, because that gives me magic weapons. So please roll a 4. Yes! Oh, I can't believe how well I've been rolling. And then let's roll to see which type of magic item. Oh, crap. Well, whatever. It's a crushing light hand weapon, which is not particularly helpful, but light magic mace. We'll sell it. So we have a fireball scroll, we have a fireball wand as well. And somebody will roll this to level up, so let's go with Bren. We've got to roll higher than a 2. We do. So Bren levels up. I cannot believe how well we've been rolling. Normally I miss those sorts of rolls at least once in a game. So now we're 4 of 7. And we don't get a +2 attack because you divide level on 2, so that's all it is. Well, that's it, guys. We killed the final boss. And it was fun. And now we might as well leave, right? Because there's no reason to stay. I mean, you can continue filling this out, but we beat the final boss. We can't beat it again. So there's no real reason. It's probably better to leave, cash out, like sell all our stuff, see what we can buy, and then come back and do it again. Try to get up to level 5, and then we can graduate from this book to the next book. More on that in a minute. Because we have to make our way back out, though, we do need to roll to see if we see any watering monsters. So we have 3 rooms. If we roll a 1, then we have to fight a watering monster, which we don't, so we're out. Okay. That's it. That's the game. So that was fun, and even though it was super easy, way easier than usual, I enjoyed it, and I guess that leads us into my my review. What do I think about 4 Against Darkness? Well, it is a little too easy. This was way easy, but even in normal circumstances, I found it to be on the easy side. Usually. And it gets easier the more you level up, because that's probably my biggest criticism, is that the enemies don't scale with you in the first book. So you really you're going to be going into the dungeon 2, maybe 3 times before it's just too easy and it's not even fun. And you have to graduate from this book to something a little harder. And that's actually fine. That's by design. So my recommendation is, once you complete a couple levels of this, then you move on to the 3 rings, I believe it's called, something like that. And the 3 rings is a little different. It's more of a choose your own adventure. You don't actually draw a dungeon, which I don't know if I like it as much. Because you roll against really just a choose your own adventure. You go, it's a choose your own adventure book, really. But it gets you it kind of scales you between this and the second volume. It's kind of a 0.5 to 4 Against the Abyss, which is really great. I like that one a lot. And that's where I would say you're going to find the most enjoyment, I think, when you get to that level. The play sheet is designed, the default one is not good. And that's why I'm glad I found this, or that I had a friend send me the other one, because this one, the design of this is pretty crappy. It doesn't work very well, especially as you scale to the higher levels. There's not enough room for equipment. I don't know. The organization of all doesn't make sense. It's not designed well. I would never use this. There are typos in the book here and there. Not enough to be problematic, but enough to say it does detract from the professionality of the whole thing and the whole experience. The rules are mostly airtight. There are a couple of things that I've noticed that are not perfectly clear, and more of those are later in other volumes, though. I think they've done a better job keeping it buttoned up here. But a good example is just the vagueness of that thing we found in the game where there was almost a contradiction, where one place it said that when you fight 10 minions or something like encounter 10 minions, and the others it was 10 minion encounters. So there was sort of a confusion. That would be an example of where it's mostly airtight, but it could be buttoned up just a little bit more. My next complaint is that vermin are meaningless at higher levels. They are just a waste of time and frustrating and annoying. I'd rather encounter a trap, to be honest, because at least trap give you a treasure. So I always give myself an XP for facing vermin. And at higher levels, I just go to the minion table. I don't even fight I don't allow myself to even fight vermin, because what's the point? One thing that I struggle with is there's no real reason why you couldn't exit at any point. I could leave, get healed, buy, sell, and then just restart with a new dungeon. But is that bad? I mean, have I failed somehow? Do I have to face the final boss to win? is that what constitutes winning? And so do I lose if I just leave? There's nothing about that. And I don't allow myself to do that. Like, I'm going to go all the way through and fight the final boss. Not going to allow myself to leave and start over in a new quest if things aren't going my way, just because it might be a little hard. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. The book doesn't talk about that at all. In the first book, you start to accrue gold, but there's not much to spend it on. Where's the equipment table? The equipment that you can buy is not super meaningful. So, I mean, it would be great to have a lot of gold if you need to do resurrection. That would be super helpful if you need to resurrect one of your party members. But other than that, everything's really cheap. I mean, you basically have everything you need on the second time you go into the dungeon. And then what? Like, there's nothing to spend money on. There's I would wish you could save up enough money to level up to get some magical because that's one problem is you can't scale defensively. Defensively, you can't scale. There's no real way to do that. So that would be an example of something that I would want to do is be able to spend gold to at least increase my defensive capabilities by a point or two. But I don't have any ability to do that. So what are you saving your money for? Because you start to accrue a bunch of money and there's nothing you can do with it. There is, if you buy the second book, in fact, you do want a lot of gold. You very much should be incentivized. But at this level, you would never know that. Someone who's trying this, who hasn't bought the second book, the 4 Against Abyss, wouldn't know that I need a lot of gold so I can train my characters and get them abilities and other things. So no, that's not fun. There's no reward, really, for having a bunch of gold. There's just no value to it, so it feels meaningless. So really, I'd say it was pretty fun, and then it got boring. But if someone hadn't sent me the second 2 volumes, I would have gotten bored really fast. This doesn't have a replay ability too much. I mean, I guess it does to a degree, but you do have to get other supplements to keep it interesting because at some level it starts to get boring pretty fast. Only get this if you plan to get at least 2 or 3 other books to go along with it. The other thing is that I wish that there were more RPG elements. I wish that there was a little bit more of some story that you have to bring into it. I mean, but that's I can't be too harsh because you know what you bought, right? You know what you get. This is a dungeon crawl experience, an adventure. It's not about role-playing, really. It's not about creating stories, and it's not a writing tool. It's none of that. So it's okay. And you can always bring that into it if you want. You just kind of have to do it yourself or force yourself to think that way. But yeah, just don't go into it thinking you're going to get a lot of narrative type experience from it. So, moment of truth, it all comes down to this question. Is this a game after a first play that I would play again and recommend that you do the same? And the answer, I think it's pretty clear. The answer is yes, thumbs up. I did play it again, and it was fun, and I will play it again, especially with supplements. So that's it. Thanks for spending all this time with me. I hope that you're enjoying your apocalypse as much as I am, and I appreciate that you spend it with me. If you would like to send me gifts and things to review or experience or things that are pink, you can send them to my temporally displaced P.O. box address that you will find supplementing this VHS in whatever way that my friend Chudley gives you that information. So send it there, and I will happily look at it and experience it and record more videos.